The morning mist clung to the streets of Benton like regret. Officer Jared Locke adjusted his badge in the mirror, the silver catching a glimpse of his tired reflection. It was supposed to be a quiet shift. No riots, no calls, just traffic and silence. That silence broke when he saw it. A navy blue Chevrolet Impala. Spotless, classic, gliding through the intersection like it belonged nowhere and everywhere. Inside, a black man in his 60s, grey hair, glasses, and a dark suit. Not speeding, not swerving, just existing. Jared's stomach tensed. Looks too polished, he muttered, flicking the lights on. He didn't know why, he didn't need a reason. Instinct. He called it. Experience. A feeling in his gut. The car pulled over smoothly. The driver lowered the window with a calm that felt almost defiant. "Good morning, officer," he said, voice even. Jared studied him. No fear, no fidgeting, just composed. "License and registration," Jared said flatly, his voice already carrying suspicion. "Do you know why I pulled you over?" "You probably have a reason," the man replied, unbothered. "Even if I don't agree with it." That answer didn't sit right. Jared returned to his patrol car, ran the plates. Nothing. Clean. He checked the registration. Federal level. A gold seal, faded with time. "Name?" he asked, stepping back to the window. "Marlon J. Beck." Jared frowned. Something about the name scratched a memory he couldn't reach. "Where are you headed?" "To say goodbye to a friend," the man said quietly. "One who taught me that silence is never neutral." The phrasing made Jared uneasy. He called dispatch, asked them to verify the ID. There was a pause, a long one. Then, "Repeat that name." "Marlon J. Beck." Jared repeated. The operator's voice turned cold. "Stand by." Jared waited. Sweat gathered under his collar. Why was dispatch acting so strange? Finally, a new voice came through, lower, firmer. "You're Marlon Beck." "Affirmative." "Suspicious behavior. Are you aware of who he is?" Jared looked back at the man in the car. Still calm. Still watching him, not like a threat, but like a teacher observing a student. "He's listed under federal protection," the voice said. "You're going to want to be very careful about your next move." Jared clenched the radio. Understood. But instead of letting go, Jared doubled down. "Step out of the vehicle." "Sir." Beck didn't flinch. "On what grounds?" "Unusual behavior. Possible evasion." "You mean I didn't panic?" Jared's grip tightened on his belt. "Open the trunk." Beck unbuckled slowly. "If I do, and you find nothing, will you know what to do next?" Jared didn't answer. The trunk opened. Inside, a worn leather briefcase, a small bouquet of white lilies, and a heavy book, the Constitution, bookmarked and underlined. "These are my weapons," Beck said. "Ideas, words, things I thought I spent my life protecting." Jared didn't know what to say. He searched the car, found nothing. No drugs, no weapons. Just notes on civil rights cases, and a folder labeled Ethics Reform Proposal. A bystander across the street began filming. "That's Judge Beck," she whispered. "He taught my father-in-law." The video spread fast online, then 2 news desks, then into living rooms. A caption appeared. "Stopped for existing, not resisting." Schools paused their civics lessons to talk about him. Judge Beck was one of the authors of the 1999 Anti-Discrimination Policing Act, a teacher said. A student asked, "Then why did they stop him?" Jared was pulled from the field pending investigation. The footage was reviewed. Calm voice, composed demeanor, unnecessary escalation. No yelling, no violence. One reporter said, but the harm was in the assumption. And assumptions build systems. The Justice Department declined to press charges, but not everyone stayed quiet. A federal judge wrote an op-ed. Beck didn't need defense. He needed to never be targeted. A university invited Beck to speak. He declined. Instead, he sent a single note. "Some truths don't need retelling. They need remembering." Jared, now working desk duty, was flooded with messages, some angry, some mournful, some confused. His own son came home from school quiet. "Are you the man from the video?" he asked. "Yes," Jared replied. "Then, why do people say you were afraid of a book?" Jared didn't answer. Beck's story became case study material, not because of what he did, but because of what he didn't. Panic, shout, retaliate. He had learned that dignity was its own form of resistance. More footage surfaced. Beck years ago, speaking at a youth summit. "The goal isn't to be above suspicion. The goal is to make suspicion irrelevant." Police academies began using the video. "Watch his eyes," an instructor said. "That's not defiance, that's disappointment." In a university library, a display appeared, the book that made them nervous featuring the annotated Constitution from Beck's trunk. Jared was interviewed by Internal Affairs. Was he disrespectful? No. Did he resist? No. Then what made you stop him? Jared paused. He didn't match the picture I was trained to expect. And what picture was that? Jared didn't reply. The silence was recorded as part of the file. A senator quoted Beck on the floor of Congress. "Silence is not neutral, it's either permission or protest." The quote was printed on classroom walls across the country. The department issued a new training manual. Chapter 1. Assumptions are not procedures. In North Carolina, a child raised his hand in civics class. If following the rules hurts someone, is that still justice? His teacher didn't answer right away. Instead, she erased the board and wrote, "Painful but lawful." The class debated for hours. Meanwhile, Beck kept walking the same path each morning, through the park, past the courthouse, nodding silently to those who stared too long. He never gave interviews, never posted statements. He didn't need to. His name now lived not in headlines, but in lesson plans, debate prompts, and inside the folded pages of legal textbooks. Jared gave a final statement at a quiet tribunal. "I followed procedure, but not principle. I saw a threat where there was a standard." He didn't ask for forgiveness. Just don't train the next officer to fear what they don't understand. The tribunal didn't applaud. They just nodded. A quiet sentence was passed. Desk duty indefinitely. Education mandatory. Months later, a professor asked her class, "What would you have done differently?" A student raised her hand. "I would have asked for his name, not to report it, but to remember it." Beck eventually retired quietly. He donated his copy of the Constitution to a public school. It was placed in a glass case open to the Equal Protection Clause. Above it, a simple plaque read, "Some rights aren't written, they're lived, and too often questioned." In his final note to a former clerk, Beck wrote just one line, "If justice needs a reminder, then we all forgot too soon." Marlon Beck never raised his voice. That, people would later say, was the most unsettling thing of all. He didn't protest. He didn't demand. He simply existed in a way that made others confront their own absence of humanity. In the weeks that followed, Beck's name became a quiet echo across the country. Not through interviews or press conferences. He declined every single request, but through classroom debates, law journal articles, whispered conversations in police departments, and candlelight vigils that no one organized, yet everyone attended. The video of his stop played in churches on Sunday and in government ethics courses on Monday. It was dissected by sociologists, criminologists, civil rights historians, and, unexpectedly, elementary school students who wanted to know why a good man looked so sad. In a town hall meeting in Virginia, a veteran officer stood up and said, "I've done what Jared did, not once, but dozens of times. The only difference is none of them were Beck." The silence in the room after that wasn't awkward. It was necessary. One law student said the video changed his entire thesis. Another burned her mock trial argument because she realized she had built it on assumptions, not principles. Asterisk, at the Department of Public Safety, new recruits were handed a blank report and asked, "Write down how you would explain what justice feels like to a child who's just been profiled." Many froze. Some cried. One asked if there was a right answer. The instructor said, "There better be. Before you carry a badge." Asterisk.
Hola, alma luminosa. Bienvenida a este momento sagrado. Aquí y ahora no hay nada que lograr. No hay nada que cambiar. Solo tu presencia es suficiente. Inhala profundo y exhala lentamente. Siente cómo tu cuerpo comienza a relajarse. Deja caer los hombros. Suaviza tu rostro. Abre tu corazón. Estás segura. Estás en casa. Estás en conexión total con la energía del universo. Mientras respiras, imagina una luz dorada entrando por la coronilla. Esa luz es sabiduría universal. Es abundancia. Es paz. Es amor. Siente cómo esa luz recorre tu cuerpo, desde tu mente hasta la punta de tus pies. Con cada exhalación, sueltas el peso del pasado, Con cada inhalación, activas tu poder interior. Visualiza ahora una versión de ti que ya vive en total alineación. ¿Cómo camina? ¿Cómo respira? ¿Qué siente al despertar? Obsérvate siendo esa versión. No en un futuro lejano, sino ahora. Ya eres esa persona, ya estás en ese camino. El universo no responde a tus palabras, sino a tu vibración. Y en este instante, tú estás vibrando en abundancia. Ahora, en tu mente o en voz alta, repite conmigo. Estoy alineada con la energía del universo. Soy un imán para la abundancia y las oportunidades. Ya soy suficiente. Ya soy merecedora. Mi energía crea mi realidad. Confío en el proceso. Todo llega a su tiempo perfecto. Siente cómo cada célula de tu cuerpo responde a estas palabras. Tu corazón se expande, tu mente se aclara, tu alma se eleva. Ya no estás esperando, estás recibiendo. Ya no estás deseando, estás recordando quién eres. Inhala, alineación. Exhala, resistencia. Inhala, gratitud. Exhala, control. Inhala, expansión. Exhala, dudas. Siente cómo cada respiración te acerca más a tu esencia. Cuando estés lista, lleva una sonrisa suave a tu rostro, no porque todo esté resuelto, sino porque tú estás en paz. Siente gratitud por este momento, por este cuerpo, por esta nueva frecuencia que estás llevando contigo hoy. Tú eres el canal, tú eres la señal, tú eres el milagro que el universo esperaba. Camina hoy como tú, yo más auténtico. Habla desde tu verdad. Actúa con intención. Confía en que todo está ocurriendo a tu favor. Abre los ojos lentamente y recuerda, la abundancia no llega. La abundancia ya está dentro de ti.